Hey y'all, howdy. Welcome to One for the Books. I'm Sandra Broadwell, and today we're going to one of the most magical places on the planet. Today we're going to Powell's City of Books in Portland, Oregon. It is the largest independent bookstore in the world, I think. Definitely in the United States. It's an entire city block. It has over 1 million books. It's magical. I went there once, either 9 or 10 years ago, which is the only other time I've ever been to Portland, Oregon, but we're here now. I have been looking forward to this so much, like literally for months. I knew that we were going to be like swinging through Portland on our way to somewhere else, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go to Powell's. It's going to be so awesome. So if you saw my writing retreat video that I did last month for Camp NaNoWriMo, you might remember me saying that for every 10,000 words that I wrote or edited during Camp NaNoWriMo, I was going to allow myself to buy one book. I did over 50,000 words, so I'm allowed to buy at least 5 books, which is super exciting. I might cheat a little bit because, again, the last time I was here was like 10 years ago, and I live in a van, if you didn't know that. So I don't have a ton of room for books, but I also, because I am fun employed at the moment, I haven't really allowed myself to buy any books like for the last 10 months, and I'm feeling a bit of a splurge coming on. So we'll see how many actual books I buy. I have, of course, like hundreds of books that I want, but I'm not planning a specific, like, oh, I'm going to go look for these specific books. I'm just going to go let the inspiration strike. And yeah, I'm just really excited about it. My husband, when he went on that business trip where I was doing my writing retreat, his business trip was to Zurich in Switzerland. And when he went to the grocery store, of course, he didn't have his own grocery bags with him. And they gave him this cute little grocery bag that says Zurich, Switzerland on it. And I was like, that's perfect. This is gonna be my Powell's bag for the day. So right now we're at the laundromat catching up on some laundry, but as soon as we're done folding, we're headed to Powell's. I'll take you guys along with me, and let's check out the world's largest independent bookstore together. Hey y'all, back in the car, finished my shopping spree at Powell's City of Books. And yeah, remember how I was going to like take you guys with me and film a bunch of stuff while I was in there? I got way too distracted actually buying and shopping. So I didn't do as much filming in there as I intended to. I also thought I would have my husband like help me film a couple clips because he was going in there with me, and we pretty much like split ways and did our own shopping in different parts of the store. So it's not as much a tour of Powell's City of Books at this point as it is just a book haul. And I'm fine with that. I ended up buying 10 books, which is way overboard because, again, I live in a van and I don't even know where I'm going to put all these books yet. I might have to go to a little free library and get rid of some books that I've already read that are in the van right now, but we'll figure it out. So here is my haul bag. It is quite full. So we'll go through these and I'll show you guys what I bought. I got 3 nonfiction books. All of them are writing craft books. So I am working on a novel right now, if you haven't seen any of my writing videos. This first one I actually feel really silly about. It's a tiny little book called The Elements of Style. This was actually a textbook for one of my classes when I was doing my master's program. And so I actually used to own this book. And then I think before I really got back into writing, we were like downsizing in order to move into the van. And I think it was one of the books that I got rid of, which is so unfortunate. But anyway, it was super cheap. So I was like, oh, good. I'm so glad I found this again. It's a great little guide. Then I got The Emotional Craft of Fiction by Donald Mass, and it's how to write the story beneath the surface. And so it's all about like connecting emotionally to your story and your characters and things like that, which is something that I think need some more assistance on as someone who mostly engages with the plot, or at least the plot is the part of the story that gets me excited. So having something to help me more deeply engage with the characters, I think, as I'm writing will be really, really helpful. And then my last nonfiction writing book is Writing Monsters. And I actually picked this up because I heard this guy speak on a podcast several years ago. And yeah, I just thought this sounded really cool. I also just love D&D, and the art immediately reminded me of Dungeons and Dragons. But this is by Philip Athens, and it's how to craft believably terrifying creatures to enhance your horror, fantasy, and science fiction. And it gives examples throughout the book, apparently, of real life LOL, real examples of monsters from classic sci-fi fantasy horror media. So anyway, I just thought this sounded fun. Then I have my only horror book of the haul, and that is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I was planning on reading a vampire book for Halloween this year. I think I've done that for the last several years, and I haven't read this one yet, and have heard really good things about Grady Hendrix as an author, so I just decided this would be a great one to pick up for that. I believe this is about a book club in the 90s, and a new person moves into their neighborhood, and then children start disappearing, and spoiler alert, I think it's a vampire. Then I got a really awesome edition of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. This is a book that I've been wanting to read for a really long time. It was a book I mentioned in my 40 classics to read before I turned 40 video, and I've read Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne and was really pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it. And so when I saw this edition, I just thought this was super cool. It looks like a hardback, but it's actually a pretty stiff paperback, which is kind of the best of both worlds, I think. And yeah, I just loved the shiny, cool cover on it. Then we have the most talked about sci-fi series on the internet right now, which is the first book in the Sun Eater, The Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. I believe the 6th book out of 7 just came out this month or last month, and Daniel Green and Patrick Leo and a lot of people have been really hyping up the series, so I've been really excited to start this, and I am definitely going to be picking it up sometime coming up soon. Another series that I'm planning to pick up very, very soon, probably this month, The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. This is the first book in the Dandelion Dynasty, which is a 4-book series. From what I understand, this is an Asian-inspired fantasy. Ken Liu is someone who I haven't read anything from yet, but I know everyone who does read him is really just awed by his writing, and he is also the translator of the 3-Body Problem series, or at least 2 of the 3 books in that series, which I really liked. So very excited to give this a shot. Then we have The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. This is, I believe, a military academy revenge tale involving dragons. That's really pretty much all I know about it, but I've heard it's a breakneck pace, super fast, fun read. And I believe this is book 1 of a series as well. I think only the first 2 books are out. I'm not really sure how many books are planned in the series, but I've heard really great things. The second to last book, number 9, is Gideon the Ninth by Tasman Muir. This is a book that I have heard described as lesbian necromancers in space. Which, that's all I need to know. That sounds amazing. It's a really beloved series. I've heard it's a bit confusing in terms of the storytelling nature of it, but that it gets better and better the more time you let it sink in, and potentially the more times you reread it. So very excited to give Gideon the Ninth a try at some point soon. And the final book at the bottom of the stack was The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. I think, oh my gosh, almost all of these are the starts of new series. The Justice of Kings, I can't remember what the name of this trilogy is. Or I should know that. It probably says in here. Yes, book 1 of Empire of the Wolf trilogy. And I'm pretty sure the very last book in this trilogy just came out earlier this year. So this is one that I've heard people raving about on BookTube for several years now. This is about a justice, a guy who's kind of like the lawman, I think, maybe judge, jury, and executioner. And I think the story is told from the perspective of his scribe or someone that works for him. So that's pretty much all I know about that one. But let me see if I can hold all of these books up for you and get them all in one shot. Oh Lord, stacking. Okay, here we go. The final, the final haul. There we go. Are they all they're all on screen. 10 books from Powell City of Books. I'm so stoked. I haven't splurged like this in a ridiculously long time. And I'm feeling super happy about it. It was a super, super fun time. If you are ever in Portland, Oregon, make sure that that is one of the stops that you plan into your trip. It is delightful. It's like 4 stories tall, maybe 5. And like I said, it takes up an entire city block. It's a lovely, wonderful, happy place. Thank you all so much for tuning in and hanging out with me for a little bit today. As always, please be kind, read books, and hit the subscribe button below for more bookish content to come. I'll see you again soon. Bye. I failed. The Rage of Dragons wasn't in the stack I showed you. So we almost had them all in one shot. Let me try again. Okay, here we go. There we go. That's all 10 books. See you guys next time.